Okay, hi, how's it going? I know you guys haven't heard from me in a while, and I'm super sorry about that. I originally was planning to do more videos over my winter break, but sort of got sidetracked. But I was working on all kinds of music collabs with others, so I wasn't a total doormat. But here I am, back for now. So, let's just jump right into it. Shipwrecked 64, what is it? And why am I so late? Well, to put it simple, Shipwrecked 64 is a new mascot horror game that was fully released on January 1st of 2024. It was a game created by squeaksde'corgeh. The game follows a character known as Bucky Beaver who got stranded on an island of wolves with his buddies Olive Otter, Giovanni Goose, and Walter Walrus. The wolves in the game kind of hold you and everyone else hostage, so you gotta help your friends break free by doing their tasks for them. For example, you had to help Olive collect these coconuts. And for Giovanni, you had to help him cook by turning the ovens off, I guess. And for Walter, well, his ship got stuck on a hill. So you gotta help get it for him while avoiding these hooks that appear when it suddenly turns dark and you move. And once you do all that, you go and meet Chief Wolf, who makes you collect all the pieces of your boat, put it together so he can fix it right up, and you'll be on your merry way. Sounds pretty simple, huh? However, you gotta get this all done in a time frame of 5 days, or some volcano will explode by the end of those 5 days, and a lot of the people on the island, aka the wolves, seem to kind of sort of accept their fate, which is kind of sad if you think about it. But anyways, seems like your typical game and whatnot, right? So what makes it a horror game? Well, that, my friend, I'll tell you why. So not only is it just some platform horror game, but it's an analog horror as well as an ARG. A big mix of things that you don't quite see often. Unfortunately, I won't be able to give you an in-depth explanation of the lore, given the fact it's actually a lot to comprehend, and I'm still learning it myself, but I understand the basic idea. Plus, I don't want to fully spoil things, I want you to find things out for yourself. It's a lot, so I'm sorry if I miss any important details. I'll try my best. Honestly, this video is just a video of me wanting to rant about this game since I managed to fall in love with it. It's such a good game, it's so well brilliantly put together, I don't know, it's great. So, what got me into Shipwrecked 64? Well, to put it simple, I watched Dawko upload a video of it. I don't know if he'll ever get back to it. I kinda doubt that he will, but I hope he does. But anyways, I watched this video and just something about the game intrigued me. I'm not sure how it happened, but it did. Because I was intrigued, I decided to look more into it. And I stumbled across these animation memes for it. Because previously, a demo had came out in 2022, so obviously people were gonna see that and make an animation meme out of it, because, why not? So, after watching those animation memes, which I recommend, I found myself hooked to it, mainly because it featured blood and anthropomorphic characters, which is a perfect recipe to get me hooked to something, given what I grew up with. What were we talking about again? Oh, right. I wanted to learn more, so I sat down and watched Super Horror Bro play it, and I loved it. The story was just so interesting, and it's just the classic plot of a person goes mad, kills off his friends, mixed with some FNAF and other sci-fi horrors, having featured experiments and whatnot. The experiments were known as the Starling experiments, which is essentially playing God and recreating life. This was initiated by Mark Mullins, a character who's the antagonist of the series, as well as Broadside Animations, the company that pretty much started the events of the game. These experiments were created in attempts to bring life back to Rex Broadside, the founder of Broadside Animations, and the reason why Bucky, Giovanni, Olive, and Walter all exist. After a few attempts, they had finally had results that were successful. With these successful results, it led to the Starling experiment known as Blot, who is pretty much Rex reborn. Then it soon led to Bucky, Olive, Giovanni, and Walter. Bucky is actually Brendan Lester, who ended up killing Olivia Finch, who later became Olive, Gary Wilson, who became Giovanni, and Nathan Stewart, who became Walter. It's all pretty interesting, and you do get to see their deaths in one form or another. Giovanni's to me is both brutal yet hilarious because, well, if you know, you know. All this was happening during Shipwrecked 64's development, which was created by the in-game game developer known as Connor Cogware. Or, well, Connor Thomas, who, a lot happened during the development, more than just the Starling experiments. It's a lot. I definitely encourage you to go find out for yourself. It's a lot to explain, and it's a lot to take in. Maybe in the future, when I have a better understanding of the lore, I can make a video about it, but no promises. Like I've said before, I generally love this game, so I'm just gonna start babbling about that. First things first, there's these 3 main layers in the game. Layer 1, which is the game itself, the overworld pretty much. Layer 2 consists of the pool, diner, and watering hole. That's where you start learning a few things, and in Layer 3, that's where the real danger is, and where you can learn a lot more about the story. Layer 3 has the startling experiments roaming around, so you're not safe. There are other layers beyond it, but you'll just have to learn about that yourself. In Layer 3, as I said before, you are subject to danger, so you'll know when the starlings are near, as they'll have these distorted, glitchy voices playing, and they each have different voices. Well, at least what I noticed with Giovanni and Walter, they got pretty different voices that, honestly, when I listen to them, even if they're like all glitchy and messed up, it's like, yeah, I can imagine these for the characters, like, especially Giovanni's. It's like, I don't know how to describe Giovanni's. It's like, I've heard it before with a character. It's different from Donald Duck, and it's different from Daffy Duck. I don't know, but just something about it, it just fits perfectly. But anyways, so when the starlings, they spot you, some loud noise occurs, and then this messed up distorted music starts playing that's actually quite disturbing when you listen to it. However, one of them, known as Olive, she's a bit different from Giovanni and Walter. So, throughout playing the game, you're looking at this square screen like you would in an actual N64 game. But with that square screen, there's these black bars that are on the side of it, so it takes up your computer screen. It's pretty interesting when you think about it. So, Olive, and I just think this is brilliant, she comes from those frames, and because you're so focused on the game with its square screen, you may not see her. I know when I was watching it, it nearly got me every time since I was looking at the TV at an angle, so it usually got me when she was coming from the right side. It's amazing. I haven't really been that scared from a game in a real long time. It doesn't help the fact that the moment is intense. It's amazing. When she does that, you gotta act quick and hide, but she fades in so you can hide before she spots you. It's like a peekaboo game with her. The jump scares themselves, to me, is unique. Yes, as usual, they get in your face and scream at you, but what makes it different to me is that as they scream, the scream starts to distort, and with that scream, so does the game itself and the jump scare scream. I just find that even more creepier. Well, if not creepy, more unsettling is the best way I can describe it. Though, I've heard it can get annoying with how often they catch you in Layer 3, so that's gotta be frustrating. As I say before, you had to hide from them, because the reason you have to hide from them is that, well, they chase you, which adds a lot of panic, in my opinion. But they're, like, really easy to hide from, at least from what I see. But if they, like, see you hiding, I don't know how to explain it, but if they, like, see you hiding, I've seen this with Walter. If he, like, sees you jump in a barrel or whatever to hide, he breaks that and gets you, which is interesting to me, but it's the classic thing, but it's like very easy to hide from them. But you just gotta be quick, pretty much. And aware. Something else I want to talk about, which I was pretty excited to talk about, is the music that Shipwrecked 64 has. It's both music and just the soundtrack, pretty much, because some of it's ambient, others not so much as like actual songs. It's a little hard for me to explain, but I really like the soundtrack. The soundtrack, to me, sounds amazing, and like I know I'm definitely taking inspiration from it. It has songs that are creepy, or audios that are creepy, but also has just some really nice ones. Like one of my favorites being AM PM, which has like a nice simple beat to it, but it's just good to listen to it. I don't know, I feel very happy when I listen to it. It's just something about it. It's simple, it's nice, I can bob my head to it. Another one being Overworld, which is pretty much Overworld. I liked that one a lot too. One of them that I find interesting is Calm. What's interesting about Calm to me is that it's not calm at all when you listen to it. It's actually pretty, like, how do I say this? It's pretty intense when you listen to it. It feels like you're anticipating something. And then there's Percussion, which is just kind of like loud percussion, pretty much, and it kind of spooks me every time I listen to it, because it's just like something staticky and then boom, I don't know, but I like it. Another one being Ramsey, which is really funny, the name, because it's Giovanni's theme when you're doing his minigame. The fact it's called Ramsey, it's perfect. And then there's Picasso. I really like listening to Picasso. That gives off big analog horror vibes to me. And then there's Traffic, which is more ambient and whatnot. There's a lot more songs. I'm waiting for more to become public and added to the playlist so I can sit there and listen to it. But I often find myself coming back to listening to the soundtrack. Just something about it, I just love it. Now, I know I mentioned the characters at the beginning, but there's these two other characters, well, more like three other characters I have yet to mention. And they're actually pretty important. Those characters being Stumbler O'Hare, who's a bunny, Chief Wolf, who's the leader of the wolves, and, well, a wolf himself, and JD, a character that pops up after you've played Stumbler's minigame. Stumbler's minigame is pretty much helping him paint by filling up his paint bucket and keeping his canvas up since, well, he lost his hands due to a rabid wolf. But Stumbler is pretty important, as I said before. Both him and Chief Wolf actively help you throughout the game by providing a guide to solving all the mysteries of the game and point you in the right direction. I love them both so much. They're pretty silly, especially Stumbler. When it comes to JD, we don't know a lot about him, apart from the fact he helps you achieve the true ending of the normal game, and there are Easter eggs where we see him in the real world, much like we see the others in the real world. He may be a startling experiment himself. He seems pretty interesting to me. We may learn more about him in the future because according to an interview with squeaksde'corgeh hosted by Demuted, decorgeh talks about how he's not going to add a sequel to the game, he's just going to update it over time. He mentioned that he may dive more into JD's story or Brendan Lester's story. He also stated that he doesn't have a specific answer to what JD is, and he just wanted to make it ambiguous. So I thought that was something. Honestly, go check out Demuted's video. It's got plenty of cool information in it. I have a script, right? And, like, I finished typing it up, but, like, I need something, like, to add on to it, but I don't feel like typing it, because I'm lazy, right? I'm sure you can guess that I am, but, so I decided that here on is gonna be actual rambling, and hoping it makes sense. And if there are pauses, or I'm just repeating myself, that will be cut out. So I hope you enjoy this ramble now. So, I guess you could consider this the outro. But, pretty much, I know this video is probably short or not very informative and whatnot. I just wanted to make a video so I can ramble about this game, because I generally do enjoy this game. It has elements of ARG, analog horror, classic horror games. It's all in one, and it's a good mix. And I'm sure it's been done before, but I haven't really seen it. So it's really nice to see it come together. And not gonna lie, it feels like it's getting a good amount of coverage, but at the same time it feels like it's not getting enough coverage. I don't know. As of recording this and writing the script and whatnot, Nightmind had made a long video about it, which I'll probably be checking out soon. You might have already watched it, or you may have not heard of it. But, it's there. And judging by the title, it'll go into the lore. So yeah, I guess that's what I gotta say here, but, so yeah, with Nightmind's video, I'm sure it's gonna be good, because Nightmind's pretty good at covering what he covers, so I'm probably gonna be watching that soon. I can't wait. But anyways, I just think the game is incredible, and basing this off for, I think I'm quoting Demuted's video. If I'm not quoting Demuted's video, I'm quoting someone else's video, where he mentions how Shipwrecked 64, it's a game that's kind of meant in a way to bring a community together, because there are so many different kinds of puzzles. There's music puzzles, there's cipher puzzles, there's Morse code, I think. There's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of codes and hidden messages and lore for people to break into. Sure, when you play the game, you learn the basic lore, but there is more to it if you break down the codes and whatnot. And I just think that's really interesting. So, it's kind of bring a community together to help solve it, and honestly, I can't wait to see everything be cracked down, break down, and we figure out the whole story for it, or as much as we could. It's honestly a new take in horror, in my opinion. Just something about it, I absolutely love it, and I think it's going to be an amazing piece of analog mascot horror history. It's different. It is different. It's not exactly meant for kids. It's meant for kind of everyone, but more of an older audience, given, the codes and whatnot. And it's just, genuinely, I think it's a great game. I'm probably going to be playing it myself someday. And maybe in the future, I'll make a lore video about it. Maybe. No promises, like I said, because, ooh, that's a lot. But, honestly, I think the game's amazing. And I highly recommend you check it out for yourself if you haven't already. It's a good game. It's got an interesting story. There's lots to it, and there's a whole community you can go to help figure stuff out, because it brings people together, and I think that's amazing about it. So, with that, sorry for this ramble. You probably spaced out or clicked off by now if you haven't already. But anyway, I'm sorry that I take forever with stuff and dealing with procrastination and other busy stuff. It's annoying. But I just really wanted to make a video about this game because I love it. I think it's amazing. And it should be enjoyed by everyone. So, with that, I'd like to thank squeaksde'corgeh for creating this and the whole team he had for it. It's incredible. It's so amazing to see this all put together. And he wanted to be different, and he scored pretty well on being different. And I just think it's unique. So, with that, I guess I'll just end the video. Sorry if it ends abruptly. It's just, there's a lot to cover. I may have missed some things and whatnot. But I just want to say, the game is good. I said it like a million times. I'm sorry. But I really think you should check it out. But anyways, that's all from me. I'll see you guys after my nap. Hopefully we can keep this going with making videos. But apart from all of that, I'll see you next time. I've been sort of Dragwolf, technically Rudolph, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!